Welcome back to the live stream. Hope you guys are doing well for Game Week 2. Let's go. FPL AUS says, I'll triple captain if you do. I have triple captain on. It is active, so we'll see. But the Spartan 93 and Henry, welcome to member for you, Spartan 93, and Henry, nice to see you around 29 months as a president. Awesome. Thank you so much once again for the support. In chat, a couple of people asking about if you take -4s, then free hit, do the -4s disappear? Yeah, they do disappear, but if you're going to take one -4, I don't think that's good enough value to take the free hit. The free hit should honestly make up for sometimes, honestly, at least I think a baseline of probably around 10-12 points. So if you're not taking, let's say, 3 hits, then I just don't see the reason to actually activate the free hit chip on a game week like this, you know? So that's sort of my thought there. UK Bacon says, no Solanke for me. 5 midfield it is. Can't get rid of Barco. Anyone what to do? I mean, you should be able to get rid of Barco. What do you sort of mean? I'm doing good, Renzo. How are you doing? Dylan, nice to see you here. Fran's making coffee. Yeah, I do need some coffee, to be fair. Sadly stayed up a little bit late last night, sort of looking into the triple captaincy. But we're pretty happy with the decision right now. I think the biggest thing, once again, has to be that sort of overriding decision over, you know, the mystery chip, that aspect of things. And I'm pretty happy with sort of where I'm at with the, where I think the mystery chip will be double game week usable. And so that's kind of why I'm on triple captained. Why when I change Kwanzaa with Lewis, they're telling me, yeah, so I transferred Kwanzaa to Lewis on Tuesday night. So if you guys watched the transfer plans video, I said I was considering between Rico, Lewis, and Robinson, or rolling. At that moment in time, obviously I was rolling, but then I think thinking more about the decision, thinking more about future price drops as well, and also the impending price drop, because I think initially it was going to be a price drop on Wednesday, which is what was predicted from the sort of hub price change algorithm. But then it actually ended up being Tuesday. And so I had to make that decision that night. And then I made that decision to go Kwanzaa to Lewis. But it's very possible that Lewis doesn't start and I look stupid. So I don't really mind. I wouldn't recommend necessarily going for Lewis. I've always tried to recommend going for players like, let's say, Robinson instead, who makes a lot of sense as well. Someone, Jay Wavy says, you went from Kwanzaa to Lewis because you already have Anderson, so you couldn't get Robinson. Yeah, fair enough, on double Fulham defense. Spartan 93 says, stuck with Kwanzaa. I think you just play Dunk. 100% you play Dunk versus Man United. I don't think there's even a question. Human 97, thank you so much for joining as a member of the channel. Welcome to Manager. Really appreciate the support. Afnan says, I'm thinking of starting Kwanzaa if he plays full. He's a great pick. If not, I mean, I think he was in indoors training yesterday, just based on the training kit that I saw. But there's nothing really wrong with starting him, I guess, if you have a backup. But I'd probably just play the backup if I thought the backup was equivalent anyways, because we already know the minutes are a little bit dicey. Is my triple captaincy locked in? Most likely it is. Someone's saying, should I play Kwanzaa or Dunk? I would personally still play Dunk in this situation. Did I triple captain HAALAND? Yeah, so to tell if someone has a triple captain on, you can just see on their captaincy whether their captaincy is white. And so my captaincy is white. I do have the triple captain on, so yeah. Anish, thank you so much for your super chat. Saka to Foden /KDB. I personally don't really like doing Saka to Foden because I think Saka is also an amazing pick for Game Week 3. So I feel like you're losing a little bit of value there. I also hope that maybe you have some issues in your team that actually require a little bit of, you know, help with the transfers. Because Saka is not an actual problem, I just can't recommend Saka as a transfer in Game Week 2. I know Foden's going to have a better game here, but I just don't see the value of, let's say, moving off of Saka for now. When does the price change happen because you're planning to sell Kwanzaa during the match? So what you can do is you can go on, you know, Fantasy Football Hub, and you can just look at their price change the sort of website link. I can put it in the chat if you want. So, I mean, just quickly looking at Kwanzaa once again, because Kwanzaa's already taking one price drop. It's the website is basically saying that Kwanzaa will have his next price drop next week. So it doesn't really seem like Kwanzaa's a problem for a future price drop, but you can just stay tuned and track to the website. And obviously the link is in bio to the Fantasy Football Hub website. You can just quickly find, you can search Kwanzaa's name in the price changes feature. And yeah, I can see that its change time is 1 week away. So it doesn't seem like I would be worried about Kwanzaa at all. Chisel Planet and also MPass87 first. You being a member for 6 months. Solid TC. Love to see the boldness. Thank you. Appreciate that. Chisel Planet, thank you for giving 5 memberships. So the memberships have gone to Mir, Black Hole, Azibule, Sotrik, and Rohits. And Rohits as well. Quite an avid watcher of the channel, so congratulations. Is the FFH link not in the description? Okay, well, I have... Let me amend that. Yeah, so I've put it in the description now. So for price rises, I put that there. But anyways, going back to the point, Chisel Planet, thank you so much, honestly, for giving the memberships for all the people in the chat. Really appreciate you. I mean, you've been super active every week, it feels like, in being really kind. So thank you so much. Are we TCing Haaland today? I am personally, yeah. Azibule says start Wood or Murphy. I'd probably start Wood personally. Mir says thank you to Chisel Planet as well. Start Harwood, Bellis over Hall. I'd probably play Lewis Hall, right? It doesn't seem like Newcastle actually have that much depth. I'd probably play Lewis Hall. Reason for triple captaincy. So I personally do think that the mystery chip will end up being a chip where you kind of have to play it. Yeah, I personally think you're going to have to play it in a double game week. That's sort of my big guess, right? If it doesn't go right, if suddenly the mystery chip is something that only plays in a single game week, then yeah, it's not great. But I have genuine reason to think the mystery chip is probably going to be playable on a double game week, and for that reason, I just think you're going to use a bench boost at the very bare minimum, probably on the final double game week of the season, which is quite large, very much similar to last season. And then it's a question of, you know, your free hit, your mystery chip, and your triple captaincy. So if you use your triple captaincy only on a single, I just feel like, why would I pass up an opportunity to do so when I have Haaland right here, who based on projected goals per market odds has the highest projected goal share that we've seen for a while. And then also just simply based on availability, this is probably the best one for Haaland, because later down the line, yes, when you get a full clear landscape of the FPL sort of arc, you get Haaland versus Leicester at home in Game Week 30, but it's very unlikely that you actually understand how many minutes Haaland will get in around those fixtures, and also in around those doubles. Anish again, Muniz, Wood, Isak, Salah, Saka, Son, Bruno, Kamada, Kwanzaa. I mean, I would probably roll in this team. I don't love Kamada. I think I've told you that previously anyways, but he's going to start, right? You also have Ayu actually leaving the club, so that probably actually helps his X-Men's projections. The rest of the team is solid, to be honest. You can play Hall, Guardiola, and Robinson. I think that's a perfectly fine backline. And then you can probably put Kwanzaa and Pau just as your sort of bench. The rest of the team, yeah, I'd play that. I'd captain Salah in that team. I would play Henderson. Sports said it. I'm just going to mute you because you're literally spamming the chat. Previous season finishes were 400, 8K, 90K, and 50K. Just going back the last 4 years. Ryan M says, Fran, I have Barco, Kwanzaa, and Solanke help. I would probably sell, if you haven't sold anyone, I'd probably sell Solanke, because at least if you sell Solanke, you can actually get a player who plays football this week, who actually might have a decent fixture. I think Adam Armstrong is a good example of that. I think Muniz is also a great example of that too. And then you can actually use the money that comes out of Solanke in the future to maybe upgrade someone like Kwanzaa or Barco. And that's probably my best suggestion. Any info on if Aina starts? I don't know if he starts, but I have seen him in training. So that's all I can really say about Aina, unfortunately. If one of my players goes up in price, what happens if the budget's over 100 mil? Well, your team value will go up over 100 million. So the easiest way to check your team value is by going into the transfers page right here and then pressing on list. So what I've done is I've clicked on list and then you can kind of see how much your full team value is. So you can see the purchase price of a player, the selling price of a player, and also the current price of the player. So what you want to do really is the purchase price is effectively telling you, as long as you get every 0.2 pounds worth of a price gain in the future, you're going to get one back, like 0.1 back in terms of selling price. And then the current price is just the market price of a player. So this doesn't really mean much, but it does mean something in terms of just the market value of the player within your team. What you're interested in is the actual selling price, because that's really your actual, I would call that the true team value in your team, because the current price will reflect the full team value of your team. But when you're selling a player back to the market, and some players have actually gotten some price rises already, you'll notice that you can't sell them necessarily for the same as the market price. And so that shows you the strength of your buying power, basically, as a manager. I hope that kind of helps in terms of illustrating that. But yeah, your budget can go over 100 million. That's totally fine. Just like some people can have their budget below 100 million, which would have been me, basically, if I didn't sell Kwanzaa in Game Week 2. You can't get Rico, Lewis, or Robinson because Kwanzaa price drop. I would just roll the transfer and just play Dunk instead. Why Robinson and not Villa defenders? I mean, you're not going to play a Villa defender this week versus Arsenal, right? So I can't see why you'd want to play the Villa versus Arsenal for this week, at least. Squad value is on the homepage. Yeah, but that's not your actual selling value, though. That's different. That's just your team value. Please don't TC, Fran. I think I'm actually pretty set on it, to be honest. I'm not really wavering too much on it, if I'm being honest. Hey, Fran. Wildcard Game Week 2 quick draft. I'd probably... I mean, we could kind of just discuss the draft. I think I'd probably still go Isak, if I'm honest. Maybe I'd go Armstrong just so I could sort of look through the Arsenal game. No, I'd probably go João Pedro still. I think in terms of wildcard 2, I'm just trying to think right now if you'd actually drop someone like Saka on wildcard 2. I feel like it doesn't make too much sense because you kind of need him for Game Week 6 and 7 as well. But I have to imagine you don't have too much Arsenal wildcard 2 because the next few fixtures are tough and you've already skipped past Wolves at home. So I imagine wildcard 2 could actually be something that has like Foden inside or Palmer at the very bare minimum. And if we're uncertain about Nkunku, it's very likely that we don't go for Nkunku. Pedro's overrated. I mean, I just generally disagree with that. He's still a penalty taker. He plays for Brighton, so and has good minute share in terms of the 9 and 10 positions. I really am not worried about João Pedro. Nkunku, Brereton, Diaz. I'd still play Nkunku personally. Kwanzaa 4.4 to 4.5 Lewis. Who should I get if not for Lewis? I would actually roll if you weren't able to move Kwanzaa. Yeah, I mean, you could very well still go with a Salah draft, I think, on wildcard 2. But I think a lot of managers won't like doing that, right? You might still want to go for Isak, I suppose. And probably have Palmer, Eze, these types of players inside. I think I would actually look at maybe going Robertson to save a bit of money from Trent, but it depends if you just really want to have Trent, because Trent is quite expensive. And you've technically skipped off one of the good Trent fixtures already. Pedro Porro, I think I would probably still have. Konsa, Dunk, these sorts of players. Maybe if you want to say like Colwill as well, Robinson, any of those 4.5s I think makes sense right now. Guardiola I'd put on a wildcard 2. I think that's roughly the team. I'd probably look at Palmer as well. And you can decide whether you want to go Salah only or Haaland only, I think, once again. Because yes, of course, Haaland only is going to give you a benefit for Game Week 2, but then actually, I see a lot of managers, including myself, actually going towards Salah in game weeks 4 and 5, which means that if you're wildcarding, you probably actually want to skip that sort of transfer element. And Kunko or João Pedro, I'd probably play João Pedro just for the safety of minutes. Fran, you reckon Haaland scores more goals against Southampton? I mean, so triple captain him then, if you believe in that. Pedro or Kulusevski, I mean, I think Kulusevski could start, so maybe you could go Kulusevski. Fran, who do you have benched? Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, let's just go skip back to the bench page, and hopefully you can still see it. Yeah, so my bench right now is this. Is Smith Rowe a minutes risk? I don't think he's a minutes risk in terms of, is he going to be benched? But I think... But sorry, I think going back to the point, when it comes to, let's say, minutes risks, I can't really see him being someone who's not a leaker. I mean, sorry, a benched player. You sent a super chat. Oh, I'm so sorry if I've missed it. LT, Harwood, Bellis, or Rodgers? Who would you start bench? Why? You know what? I would actually go with Rodgers, right? Because I think theoretically Harwood Bellis has a great game, but it's still Southampton, so we need to just be fair to their defense. It's not very good. I can't expect too much from it. With Rodgers, what I'm seeing now with Rodgers is that he's actually a player who's quite important in the system, and I feel like his minutes are still strong, and he's playing central. I feel like if you don't have any Arsenal defenders in your team, it feels really good to actually start Rodgers right now, because if there's ever the off chance he gets a return, you'll feel really happy about it, because you're also playing against the crowd of players who are also with Arsenal defense in their team. On top of that, as I said, I think with Rodgers, his minutes could be a lot higher than we naturally expect. Whereas with Harwood Bellis, it's just, you're really asking, can they actually get a clean sheet versus Nottingham Forest? And I think it honestly still feels very unlikely, which is why I'm sort of leaning towards just playing Rodgers. It's a close decision though, but I would go Rodgers because I feel like there's just a bit more upside there. Notorious Wrestle, hope you're doing well. Nice to see you around as always. Thoughts on triple captain Haaland? I might do it, and yeah. Well, sorry, you said you might do it. I mean, I'm doing it. Let's just say that. The reason why I'm doing it though is because I think, once again, we're gonna have 2 double game weeks this season. Unexpected double game weeks are something that's going to be, I don't know, maybe weather related, unfortunately death of the monarch related, couple other things. But we're going to have 2 double game weeks. The big one, you're definitely going to use a bench boost on. And the other one, it's just going to be a question of whether you use the mystery chip, the triple captain chip, or the free hit chip. But I've already suggested 3 chips now that can potentially be used for a double that isn't the bench boost. And the genuine question is whether you want to use the triple captaincy elsewhere. Because what's the opportunity cost of using the mystery chip on a single versus a double? And then also, once again, asking the same question for, let's say, the free hit as well, versus, let's say, the blank game week potential option that we have. So the way I see it is, even if you're someone who likes to use a free hit on a blank, which I've done it before. Obviously, last season we lost to the doublers, but that is that. Who's my vice captain? It's Isak today. We likely will get any Man City starting use. I don't know though. Bench boost is not a useless chip. I think that's just a ridiculous argument, if I'm being honest. I think I can't even. Let me find a screenshot of my bench boost last season. Although I did take a big hit for it, so. Yeah, so my bench boost. Oh, it was going to be 37, wasn't it? Yeah. I think my bench alone, I had Malo Gusto with 14 points on my bench. Sorry, 13 points. I also had Gabriel with 7. Or rather, Saliba with 9, technically. And then I had Vicario with 4 points. So, and then who would I have benched in the forward positions? Definitely, I think I would have just benched probably Saka. So it was Saka plus Saliba, which is 11, plus Malo Gusto, which is 13. So yeah, I had 24 points in my bench boost last season. So yeah, I don't think a bench boost is useless, but you know, you can tell me about a bench boost. I don't think setting up a bench boost is a headache, though, because the reality is when you have blanks and doubles, you do need to have a little bit more depth, because you need players who also don't play in the blank, and then you also need players who play in the doubles. So what happens usually is you have a little bit more depth to allow yourself to actually navigate the blank and the doubles a little bit more effectively. So by proxy of actually trying to manage the blanks and doubles without the bench boost, you're going to have a bench boost friendly team. All you need to do is probably push that additional -4 for a bench boost, and then you need to reconsider whether the bench boost is worth it or not. Franek says, is Son a good differential captain instead of Salah? I would just go Salah, personally. I think Brentford at home is a great fixture. Salah has an insane record there. I'm not very much someone who looks at historical records, but the reality is I think even looking at some betting market lines, Salah is just clear over Son. I think Son is already such a big differential in the game. Owning Son is a differential. Salah is also less than 100% owned. Not many people are going to captain him this week. I would go with Salah captain. Dan Watson says, thoughts on triple captain this week? I actually outlaid my thoughts already to Resul, but effectively, I just think that we will have opportunities to use the chips on double game weeks, including the mystery chip. And if the mystery chip is used on a double and a bench boost is used on the double, then I'm very likely to use the triple captain on a single. And that's my thoughts. Is Nkunku better to start than Barrett and Diaz? I would probably start Nkunku, yes. Hey, Fran, do I play Mikalenko versus Spurs away? I would play Mikalenko versus Spurs away, yeah. I'd probably do it. Will I triple captain this week? I mean, I have a triple captain active now. It is active right now, yes, that's correct. Oof. I'm trying to see if we have some leaks, yeah? I don't think we have any leaks today. Not that I can see. Which is not great news for Rico Lewis owners like myself. Rodri isn't playing. I think that's significant. Shizzle Planet, have you gone with 5 subs? 5 memberships once again. Thank you so much. Vio, Bobby Joe, Sui, Marek, and Vio, congratulations. Or actually, sorry, Saponwid. Vio says Smith Rowe over João Pedro. I'd probably play João Pedro personally. I think João Pedro's minutes is still going to be good because Rutter's only been in training for a bit, and I think that João Pedro's minutes can still be very strong. We also know that Welbeck was struggling with a little bit of fitness last time out, so I feel like João Pedro's minutes could actually go a little bit more extended this week now that he's actually close to full fitness. Eze or Gordon, I'd go Eze for sure. Someone in the chat asking, start Kwanzaa or Konsa? I'd start Kwanzaa still and Konsa behind him, but it doesn't really matter because I feel like Kwanzaa's not going to play. Russell Baker says, hey, Fran, pick 2 out of 3 in Nkunku, Smith Rowe, João Pedro. I'd probably play Nkunku and João Pedro, personally. Hey, Fran, should I start Kwanzaa and hope he plays or Dunk? I'd play Dunk, personally, in this situation. Play Minte or João Pedro? I'd play João Pedro, just because there's a small risk with Minte as well. I know he said he was cleared to play by the manager, but I have to say that João Pedro's still on penalty, so I quite like him. I'm hoping we get some leaks, hopefully around Rico Lewis as well. Is there a chance Kwanzaa could start? I think it's very minimal, personally, because he already missed training quite a bit. I feel like Konate played in the team that performed really well in the second half. It feels unlikely to me that he starts. Best Solanke replacement. I think if you've got money to push into someone like Watkins, I would probably just roll this week. if that's your plan. But generally, you know, I'd probably just go into Muniz or Armstrong, these types of players. I'd play Muniz over Smith Rowe as well, for anyone who's asking that question. Munoz, is it? Are you saying Munoz or Muniz versus Nkunku? If you're saying Muniz versus Nkunku, I'd still play Nkunku. If you're saying Munoz, I'd definitely play Nkunku. But it's close for the Muniz situation. Haaland triple captain. Yep, that's what I'm actually on, Daniel. But as I said, it's based on my sort of thoughts on the mystery chip and whether that can be played. I'm probably not going to check Discord today, those twins, because I just don't have really time to flick through unless it's just for leaks. Gordon or Smith Rowe, I'd play Gordon personally. I just think Gordon always has great minutes. Trippier's out now as well, which actually always, I think, gives him a little bit of a superficial boost, right? Because he's going to be on free kicks and all that stuff. It's not superficial, to be fair. It's a legitimate boost. You're rolling your transfer now, Eamon says. I put Duncan for Kwanzaa with Poro and Trent. Should I downgrade Poro next week and upgrade Nkunku? I think that's fair. I think rolling makes sense. And that's why for a lot of managers who've actually rolled, that's the point of saving. Like, if you can't go for a 4.5, there's absolutely no reason to go from Kwanzaa to a 4.0. So if you actually save 2 free transfers, you can make better moves and then upgrade the Kwanzaa position. Muniz still a good pick after the price rise. That's a good point, actually. Sorry, I didn't really think about that. I'd probably just go Armstrong in that situation. Are you certain that you're going to triple captain? I mean, I'm pretty certain. Vladimir, I'd start João Pedro and Nkunku. Start Nkunku, Wood, or Chris Rowe. I think between Wood and sorry, why did I say Chris Rowe? Between Chris Wood and Smith Rowe, I think it's actually close. I would probably go Smith Rowe just because I like to back a home fixture personally. So that's sort of where I'm at. Triple captain / mystery chip is likely in 33. If they make you wait until December to say what the chip is, then surely it will be a good chip. Triple captain is likely to be less valuable than mystery. I actually agree with you, Jay Lee, which is why I'm on the triple captaincy itself. 1,000 of you guys in the chat, please do like the stream and also subscribe if you're absolutely new to the stream. Really appreciate the support here. Thank you guys. How are you? How sure are you that Rico Lewis starts? I'd say 90%, but I don't know. I mean, Walker already posted something about yeah, Walker said something about, I mean, Walker posted a match day story on his Instagram that, you know, he's in the sort of match day profile, but Rico Lewis is starting there we land. Who said that? Have I missed something? I can't see Rico Lewis as a leak yet. Apparently Garnacho and Xerxes start against Brighton. So for Ahmad Diallo owners, I think you're unfortunately a little bit in trouble. And Ahmed is gone. But I think, yeah, people who've held Garnacho, makes a lot of sense to keep him. Joe Diego as well, -4. Kwanzaa / Solanke to buy Tanobi Eusebio. Yeah, okay, great. Huge upgrade on FIFA for sure. Yeah, you got me. Salah says, team for Game Week 2, Henderson, Van Dijk, Romero, Robinson, Son and Nkunku, Gordon, Jota, Muniz, Haaland, Isak, subs, Cho, Konsa, McLink. Yeah, that's a good role. It's a good team and it's a good role. And it's a good captaincy. Is Anderson playing his first game? I can't say on that. I feel like Anderson's match fit. It's not that hard to move from one London club to another. And I feel like he could start, but for me to actually confirm that, I don't have an inside league, right? So let's talk FPL. Just went triple captain. Oh, mate, he's copying me now. No, I'm kidding. Andre Silva said no. Fair enough. Would you do Aina in another 4.5 defender? He's going to fall in price tonight. Oh, it's a good point. I would probably just go... I think you could bench him, though, to be fair. But then you might put yourself in a situation where he becomes a 4.4 and you can't move him to another 4.5. So I feel like if you can go for someone like Dunk, right, that gives you depth in the future. So I hope that Dunk works out for you. Reason why I say Dunk is because when Gabriel plays versus Man City in Game Week 5, you do still want a defender who's got a good fixture there. So maybe Dunk makes a lot of sense for yourself. Is Doku a good punt for Game Week 2? I don't love the Doku punt. I think, yes, of course he is, just in terms of the minutes being good, because Savio seems like he's not going to play. But do I love Doku generally as a pick? Not really, I have to be honest. I probably prefer Bernardo Silva at this moment in time. Am I triple captain? Yes, I am. Fran, you got Kwanzaa for triple captain. Yeah, fair play, Charlie. I'd like to see that. I'm sticking with the triple captaincy. Yes, that's correct. Andreas, stop baiting me with the Rico Lewis stuff, mate. Let's see. Start Smith Rowe and Nkunku. I'd definitely start Nkunku. Because yes, of course, Nkunku's minutes are volatile, but still. It's still my opinion that I would go Nkunku in most situations over Smith Rowe. I mean, yes, of course, Smith Rowe is a great game, but I think that's just a small quality of player size gap. Haaland has dusted off last injuries and is in top form, but I think there'll be a better time to play triple captain. And that's why you should save it. If you genuinely believe that, then save it. You know? I'm sort of hedging on the fact that I think it actually could be one of the best opportunities to play the triple captaincy, and I don't see his minutes being poor, so therefore I'm going for it. Start Lewis or Nkunku. I'd definitely go Nkunku. Does Ahmad start? I don't think Ahmad starts because it seems like Garnacho starts. Yeah. I'm just going to start Rico Lewis because that's life. Hey, Fran, start one. Oh my god, the chat's absolutely buzzing. Sorry about that. I'm sure I have to refresh the page because I literally cannot see chat. Ahmad's mum passed. Well, sorry to hear that if that's the case, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it seems like just based on Garnacho starting that he won't start. Philip, with the super chat, thank you so much. Who should I start in defense out of Porro, Trent, Hall, Robinson, and Lewis? I would start Porro, Trent, and Lewis. But if we get any news that obviously Lewis is not ready to play, then you just play Robinson, right? But I think the order is going to be Porro, Trent, Lewis, Robinson, Hall, if that helps. Salah says, is it worth doing Son to KDB or Nkunku to Bernardo? I don't think it's worth doing any of those moves. I would roll in your situation, Salah. I really wouldn't worry. Son is a big differential. Son's on penalties 100% this week. It's a good play. Would you say triple captain is the least valuable chip? I would say, yeah, I would say so. I would say so. I mean, it's a bit of a weird situation, right? Because I feel like the bench boost doesn't have any value, because you're sort of asking, what if I triple captain on a single, then compare it to the best potential double? What's the opportunity cost of that? Probably around 6 points maximum, I'd say. What is the opportunity cost of a bench boost on a single versus a double? Now, I think that could be more than 6 points. Opportunity cost of the mystery chip, no clue. Free hit depends on whether you play it on a blank or a double, and that's obviously very subjective. So I still think that the gap, though, for using a free hit is actually just naturally more than 12 points. So, yeah, I do think in that aspect, it's the least valuable chip. However, you don't necessarily need to plan a triple captaincy because you're always just going to want to have good captains. So that's another element in the triple captaincy. Tegi, thank you so much for the super chat. Hi, Fran, start Zinchenko or Hall. I'd probably start Hall, if I'm honest. I feel like Zinchenko is a weird one because Zinchenko always finds himself in a nice niche situation where he's an early substitute. So if you're banking into a narrative that, let's say, Aston Villa could score late, right? They've got good subs, Aston Villa do. if that's possible, then maybe Zinchenko just bags his clean sheet. But there's more value, I think, in just getting 90 minutes from Hall, especially with the lack of depth that Newcastle have, which makes me lean towards going for Hall and starting Hall. But that's sort of my personal thoughts. I think if you really think that you can sort of thread the needle with Zinchenko and get the 65-minute substitution, go for Zinchenko. But yeah. Going back to Monk Super Chat. Hey, fantastic Fran. Quick summary on Haaland triple captain choice and start 2 between Nkunku, JP, and ESR. Hope to see you on FPL therapy. I think I will be on FPL therapy soon. Hopefully, you guys will see me on the Game Week 4 preview. As far as the Haaland triple captaincy choice, I think it goes multiple ways, right? First of all, we're saying that there are a couple. I would say that there are 4 teams right now that I think are quite weak. I would say that is Wolves, Ipswich Town, Southampton, and Leicester. So if you evaluate all these defenses quite similarly, technically, whether you go Salah or Haaland captaincy, on singles, those will be all the best opportunities to go and target against these players. And Saka maybe a little bit closely, but following behind. Then it goes to the argument of asking the question of, so when do I use these chips? How many double game weeks do we have this season? Ben Krillin's confirmed that we'll have 2 double game weeks. That's certain. Now, multiple things can happen to create a double game week, right? The death of a monarch, unfortunately, weather-related events, and major unexpected sort of disturbances, right? Global pandemic. Those situations, I think, are somewhat minor, and they could also completely just throw the season out in spin. And then you also have to consider the situation of how many players in the game with the double game week would actually outscore a prime Erling Haaland fixture. Because with the doubles, it's not like you're actually choosing 2 prime games. I know Solanke last season was able to do so with Luton at home and Sheffield United at home, but it's very unlikely that we ever see that. So there's only a fair few limited amount of players and clubs who can actually match Haaland triple captaincy. Just saying goodbye to the wife there. She heads off to work. But the main thing is, I would say, when we go back to the discussion of the bench boost, the triple captaincy, the free hit, and also the mystery chip, if you only have 2 double game weeks and you're someone who actually likes to use the free hit, or even, let's say, the mystery chip on the double game week, that's already kind of closed off your options to use the triple captaincy. So at best, you're probably looking at a single game week triple captaincy. And why not look at one like this season, where based on the team models that I've looked at, right, from friends that I appreciate, and also the bookie markets, this is the best theoretical single captaincy that we have. And we also know that there are very minimal disturbances to Haaland getting subbed off at 90 minutes. Or anything before 90 minutes. So it's kind of the question of, and I hope this answers the question for you, Yogesh, as well. Why I'm on triple captaincies, because I just generally do think that the single game week triple captaincy is going to be a real thing this season. And I'm sort of betting towards that. If I'm wrong, if the mystery chip is only used on singles, fine, I'm wrong. But that's sort of my thoughts, and that's why I'm on triple captain Haaland. Rajath and Beardy J, thank you so much for joining as members of the channel. Welcome to Manager Rajath, and Beardy J, welcome to Captain as well. Going back to the live chat, still worth doing Quants out, Lewis in. I don't think it's worth it, because unless you've got 0.5 in the bank, we also don't really know if Lewis starts, right? City leaks. It seems like Tony. I think Tony. So Tony has actually opened a Patreon, right? Tony is probably the best guy I know for City Leaks. He's opened a Patreon. I don't have access to it. Maybe he's got City Leaks. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. That's the reality. Yeah. I mean, he's captained Haaland. He went for Robinson himself. So I don't think we actually are going to get any City Leaks today, potentially, unless Lazy FPL is able to pull it out the bag. Philip, you've actually got access to his Patreon. I'd probably not share it in the public, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I mean, Tony, it's Tony's right. So yeah. I'm still gonna go Lewis on my team. If I have an absence of information, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go Rico Lewis. That's just my thoughts, right? I've already made the transfer. I'm lying in this bed. FPL Tony leaks will happen soon. I will see. Haller, Gabriel this week. I would probably go Gabriel. And it goes back to the argument that I think Gabriel's a massive goal threat, right? So when I compare to Zinchenko, he's always someone who's a little bit weird because you have to thread the needle as well. I think it's very likely both teams can see the clean sheet, but then also Lewis Hall is quite an attacking player. He also plays more minutes, and if you're an attacking player, you play more minutes, you can get more chances of getting a goal or an assist. So I kind of like Gabriel just naturally because he's such a massive threat. Nkunku or Doku, I would go Nkunku. But the thing is, are you asking me because you want to transfer Doku in? Gabriel or Robinson, I'd probably actually play Robinson, to be honest. I know Rodri's not playing. I think that was already confirmed yesterday by the press conferences of Pep. So yeah. Start Jacob Murphy or Gabriel. I'd probably start Jacob Murphy still at the end of the day. It's not a great game for Arsenal. It's an away fixture. Lewis is not long term. Absolutely. You can't get Lewis. If you guys can't get Lewis, I would just hold Kwanzaa. Save the 2 free transfers so you can make a better move, right? Hey mate, been following you since last year. You helped me get top 5k. Help me Stark 1, Pinnock or Johnson, Ipswich. Currently on Johnson, hoping that he gets subbed on for 1 pointer. I kind of think that makes sense for Johnson. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Jorgen says, what you laughing at, Jorgen? Is Nicholas Jackson a good Solanke replacement or just go down to Armstrong? Will Kwanzaa play? I don't think Kwanzaa will play. That's my personal opinion. Triple captain, why? I just think that there's a limited amount of doubles. I'm likely to use a triple captaincy on a single. Don't bench Smith Rowe. Is leaked lineups FPL reliable source? No, it's not. I think you're talking about... Yeah, leaked. Are you... one sec. Trying to understand. Are we saying team? It's not Team News and Ticks though, is it? Team News and Ticks used to be a legitimate leaker, but he hasn't shared a leak since forever. Now leaked lineups FPL, I think, is just not a legitimate source at all. Would you wildcard if you had Solanke, Barco, Kwanzaa, Mikolenko? I probably wouldn't, if I'm honest. I'd probably just transfer one of the players out. No leaks at the moment on any of the solid ones. Thank you, Philip. I appreciate that actually a lot. Chisel Planet says, but he said play Nkunku over him. The thing is, Chisel Planet, I would play Nkunku over Smith Rowe though, personally. But if it's Smith Rowe versus Chris Wood, I'd play Smith Rowe over Chris Wood. Man United deadline news, that's correct. Xerxes does start. Garnacho starts as well. That was the oh, Meerkat, thanks for jumping in the chat. Also, Meerkat's actually done a really helpful thing in the community, which for the last 2 game weeks, he's been running through sort of predicted lineups for teams. So do have a look at that for information. But obviously, in the absence of leaks, we can't say that we're ever like 100% sure on a player starting or even a team selection, right? So obviously, it is a best guess. Leaked FPL with 20k followers, yeah, he's not legit. I can say that right now. I remember he's gotten things wrong a lot. I'm sorry, Fran, I'm sticking with my gut and captaining Son. That's totally fine, Franek. Stick with your gut. I'm not here to just tell you what to do. So if you want to go for what you want to go for it. I agree, but he asked Smith Rowe or Wood, Fran. No, Chisel Planet, but I'm answering different questions, right? Some people are asking me Smith Rowe versus Wood. Some people are asking me about Smith Rowe versus Nkunku. But I think the chat's moving so fast that we're looking at different questions. So I definitely say Smith Rowe versus Wood. I would definitely say Nkunku versus Smith Rowe. Will Kwanzaa start? I don't think so. Triple captain is confirmed. Start Kwanzaa or Kwanzaa. I'd start Kwanzaa still just because it's such a bad fixture for Kwanzaa. Worst case, you get Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa 1.5 million in the bank. Already have Robinson, Gabriel, Porro. Who would you go for? Interesting question, actually. I would honestly probably roll, if I'm honest, because still, you've taken the price drop. I don't think I would change the defense for this week because it's not like you can go to Guardiola with the 1.5 million right now, right? So that's the situation. I feel like early in the week, if you could have gone for Guardiola with 1.5 million in the bank, I probably would have done so. What about next week? I'd probably look at if there's any other issues in your team and make it a good sort of 2 free transfer that would help you out. Am I 100% doing the triple captain? I did see Walker's Instagram post, but, you know, I'm just going to lie in my bed here. Bernardo Doku, I'd probably still go Bernardo. What was the Insta? It was just Walker, just with like a sort of lineup, I guess, sort of picture, right? What was Walker's post? Nothing. I mean, it was just Walker in almost like a match day sort of thing. Xerxes Garnacho start. I think Xerxes and Garnacho start was the leak that we actually got. So I'll just pin that if that helps. I mean, I won't pin it actually because it's not major news, I think. In 4.4 million, who should I pick for defense? I would just roll, personally. There's not enough there's not enough 4.0 players who are actually good in the game to be really worth going for. So that's my thoughts. Reason behind triple at Captain HAALAND, I just think the mystery chip will be used on a double. So to simplify it, because I've said it multiple times, I just think that we're going to end up using a triple captaincy on the single, and that's where I'm at. Cucurella or Rogers start, I would go Cucurella for sure. Gordon or Muniz start, I would go, tough one actually. I'd probably still go Gordon personally, but it's close. Odegaard to Bernardo or save transfer, I would save transfer 100%, because you definitely want to have Odegaard versus Brighton. Hey bro, Quansah to Robinson, done Solanke for a hit. Are you going Solanke for a hit because you don't have anyone else to play? If that's really the case, then fine. I would probably just go for a transfer out. But I don't love Solanke for a hit. So you've actually said you've got Harwood Bellis, and so I would go Harwood Bellis. Alex says, hey Fran, would you go -4 to take Solanke from Muniz if you're an unfortunate Quansah, Solanke, and Barca owner like myself, currently playing Quansah? I would just play Solanke personally. Sorry, I mean, I would just play Quansah, right? Because with Quansah, the expectation is he probably gets 2 points, I think. It could be worse, right? He could just end up being 1, but I think you also have to measure the expectations of what Muniz can produce. I'm not really sure it's worth a hit. So I'd probably not take a hit in most of these situations personally. Is there a chance Quansah starts? I really don't think so. I mean, he already missed training a bit. Konate was good in the last match. Will I actually triple captain? Yes. I'm not a clickbaiter. Any city leaks? I can't see any city leaks. If anyone wants to look at FPL Tony's Patreon, I guess he has one. Did you see Walker's Instagram story? Yes, I did, but I'm not going to overreact to that because it's still possible, in my opinion, that Lewis can play with Walker, right? If Walker can play right center back. Oh, True Fandela, sorry about that. Start Nkunku for Gabriel, yeah, 100%. That's an easy move for sure. I think I would definitely do that. Buy Pedro or Wood. I'd probably buy Armstrong or Muniz first, and then I'd buy Pedro. But I think with Wood, the issue with Wood is you're looking at a situation where Wood has also increased in price. You also know that Nketiah is in the team, and Awani is there. Why am I triple captaining? I just think that we only have 2 double game weeks this season. Obviously, there could be some unexpected doubles, but personally, I'm just going for it. I'm just going for my expectation that there's a single game week. Gordon or Doku, I'd go Doku for sure. I mean, but the thing is, it's not really worth the transfer, right? So if you're going Gordon to Doku, that's very different. Watkins and Rogers in for Solanke and Morgan Gibbs-White. I don't think it's worth bringing in 2 players who are playing versus Arsenal this week for a hit. I would definitely not do that. I think Arthur, if anyone has Quants at 4.4 million and you're thinking about what to do, I would definitely not go for a transfer to a 4.0, and I definitely wouldn't take a hit. What I would do is I would save the free transfer, and then I would just downgrade one of the other players from a different position next week, and then actually upgrade Quansa with the money. And you probably can get a 4.5 off of that, if you need that 4.5. Otherwise, you can probably actually just hold Quansa, make better moves in different positions. Team locked. Good luck, everyone. Hope our Monday morning will be better than game week 1. Yeah, hope so as well. Which is better to replace Quansa, Dunk or Konsa? I'd probably go Dunk, because Dunk at least you can play this week. And I also think Dunk has got great fixtures game weeks 4 and 5. However, if your team's weak for game week 3, then Dunk isn't exactly as nice. So Konsa is also a consideration. Thoughts on Dean or Cash with Moreno leaving? I thought they won't generally play 90. Yeah, but Dean has huge competition. He's competition. Excuse me. His competition is Maatsen. And for what I can see, Aston Villa have sort of been looking at sort of right back depth within this window. They tried to get Gertruda. So I'm not so sure about Cash. And I also feel like even if you go back in history, right, they could do something like play Konsa, Carlos, and Pau Torres. So therefore Cash gets benched. I don't think it's worth going for either. Is my triple captain locked? It is locked. Gordon or Robertson to start. I would probably actually go Robertson if this surprises you. What are your doubts about your triple captaincy choice? If the mystery chip can suddenly only be played in the single game week, I think I would lean back there. But I have to say, you're hyping up a mystery chip up until January, right? So if you're literally trolling me until January, and I find out that suddenly the mystery chip can only be played in a single game week, then I'll have to put my hands up and say I got owned by FPL. But I think it's very likely that we can use it in a double game week. And I think I'm hoping that it's a powerful chip on the triple captain chain. Let's go. Nkunku or Smith Rowe? I'd go Nkunku. A couple of people asking that question. Is triple captain confirmed? It is. Here we go. Confirmed for sure. Are you sure about Isak vice captain? I mean, look, if HAALAND doesn't play football, bro, it's not happening. So yeah. Don't do that to me, please. Minte or Smith Rowe from game week 3 to 6. I'd probably still go Smith Rowe, because I'm not sure if Minte might lose a couple more minutes to Adingra. And I really don't know even if he's like gonna start today. I feel it's a bit of a risk. Muniz for Solanke, I think I'd probably just go Muniz personally. I think that's a really strong move. Distracting emojis lead to a timeout. Yep, well said. Jebison or Stewart, if you had to have a 4.5 striker, I'd probably go Jebison, I think. But it seems like Stewart, I thought he was going to get loaned out, so he might get price locked. My goat, you think Lewis plus Walker both start? I don't even know if Walker's confirmed to start, right? Just because he's posted an Instagram story doesn't mean anything to me. But I think it's possible that they can both start, right? Start Hall or Rodgers? I'd probably start Rodgers still. Jefferson's been loaned, yeah. Well, yeah, then I guess you can't even go for Jefferson, right? Ahmad or João Pedro? Definitely João Pedro. Ahmad, I think, could be benched. Macrobulk says, here we land. TZ active. Good luck. Good luck to you as well. Good luck to anyone else who's on triple captain. You don't have to be forced to, or you don't have to be forced into a triple captain, right? Listen to me. If you don't want a triple captain, that's totally fine. You'll have opportunities at the end of the season, and you will have opportunities even after this game week, right? If you suddenly feel like, if we get information, let's say before January, that the mystery chip is going to be used on a double, you can find out another opportunity 100%, whether it's Salah, whether it's HAALAND, to go and use the triple captain. Start Quants or Dunk? I'd probably start Dunk. Gordon or Robertson to start? I'd probably go Robertson, because I feel like he's going to be less owned, and I think that's a really nice differential. You're starting Ahmad and Anderson? Yeah, you might be cooked, my friend. I'm sorry about that. Harwood Bellis or Mikolenko? I'd go Harwood Bellis for sure. It's Mikolenko for Spurs away. I wouldn't do it. Ashton, thank you for the super chat. Wood or Muniz, you've asked. I would go Muniz personally, because Nottingham Forest have so much depth now. And I think when you think about, let's say, skipping through the Bournemouth at home fixture, the fixtures for Fulham are still slightly better now, right, for the next 4 games in a row. So I kind of like Fulham more. Watkins for gaming 3 to 6, that makes sense. Even game week 4 plus makes sense as well. Particularly if you're planning to, let's say, move Isak off of game week 4. I think that's a good opportunity to jump from Isak to, Watkins. You've got Kwanzaa, Solanke, Barco, no transfers left. I'd probably just, I mean, it depends, right? Are you forced to play any of these players, Biohacker? Or who are you forced to play? Why am I triple captaining Haaland? I've already explained it. I think that there's going to be 2 double game weeks this season. I think that the mystery chip could be used on a double, and therefore I kind of like triple captaining now. To get it out of the way, because Haaland's going to be fit and available for 90 minutes, and that's sort of my thoughts. If he gets injured, if something happens, so be it. Fran, I have Fabianski on bench since he doesn't play, and Henderson starting 11. I mean, nothing wrong with just keeping these players. Henderson's fine. Bench Ezra Murphy. Definitely bench Murphy, mate. Definitely bench Murphy. Starting Kuko, João Pedro. I'd probably go João Pedro. Harwood, Bellis, or Dunk. I'd play Dunk. Bench Ezra Murphy. I've already answered that, so I think that's definitely bench Murphy. Foden or KDB. I'd prefer Foden. That's sort of where my thoughts are. Thoughts on Nketiah. I think with Nketiah, mate, Charlie Young. I've actually missed you, to be honest. That's jokes. Nkunku or Smith Rowe. Nkunku. Start Kwanzaa or Dunk. I would go Dunk. I'm triple captaining. That's it, right? That's happening. For the next 3 minutes, it's happening. Start Smith Rowe or João Pedro. I'd go João Pedro. Robinson, Lewis, or White. I would go Robinson first. I'd go Lewis, Robinson, and White in that order. Can you rate my squad and any suggestions? If so, I think it's a good squad, Haru. I wouldn't really have any comments on it. I think you can actually roll this week as well. It's a very, very strong team. No complaints. Henderson or Sanchez, I think it's still Henderson this week. Start Wood or Smith Rowe. I'd go Smith Rowe. Is Barco price locked? I believe he is, but I'm not really sure. Apparently there's some precedent that maybe loans won't get locked. Smith Rowe or Gordon. I'd go Gordon. Bench Murphy or Nkunku. I said bench Murphy. Bruno to Eze. I wouldn't do that. Start Konsa or Howard Bellis. I would go Howard Bellis for sure. Start Wood or Smith Rowe. I've answered that multiple times, so that's Smith Rowe for me. And yeah, I think that's pretty it. You guys need to make your decisions now on the deadline. There's only literally 1 minute left to make the moves, so best of luck. 1K 2 week in a row. Good luck, Beardy. Awesome. Start Bruno Fernandes or João Pedro. I'd probably still start Bruno. Would you start Winks, Dunks, or Konsa? I would start Dunk, then Winks, then Konsa in that order. Good luck for the triple captain. Thank you. Are you triple captaining or someone else? I am triple captaining. That's correct. Start Jacob Murphy or Smith Rowe. I start Smith Rowe. You've triple captain Cameron Archer. There's no chance you're doing that, mate. Start Sangare or Mikolenko. Probably Sangare, actually. Start Gabriel or Hall. I'd probably start Gabriel. Triple captain Bruno. That's not happening. Play your own game. Absolutely. João Pedro Robinson. I'd probably play João Pedro. Guys, there's literally 20 seconds. Make your moves now on your teams. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. I still have Lewis in my team. It is what it is. If he doesn't start, that's fine. That's life. I'll have to just move on. No triple captain. I have triple captained. It's over. We're locked in. We're locked in, Ivan. And that's it. That's it. That's the deadline. Oh, game is updating and will be available soon. Whew. Okay, and that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching the stream. Really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you guys for being around. 1,300 you guys. Awesome. Lots of new members as well. Thank you to Shizzle Planet. Thank you to a lot of the super chats and the new members. If you haven't subscribed already, please feel free to do so and like the stream as well. That really does help support. Do you support a football team? Yes, I do. I'm a Real Madrid fan. Can you say a prayer for all the non-Haaland owners? Nah, I've got Haaland, mate. Discord link, I think, is in the description. So hopefully that works. United Stan says Garnacho doesn't start today. Is that true? Is that true? Thanks as always, Fran. Thank you, Liam. Thank you, Not Enough Mail. Thank you, Ayamuri. Just subbed. Thank you, SB. Thank you, Kim. Nice to see you guys all. Haaland pocketed. Like, honestly, if you really think that Ipswich are going to withstand Man City, I guess that's very respectable. You've made watching soccer easier and helped me play FPL. I don't normally watch soccer. Oh, that's lovely, Arcanos. I'm really happy for you. Haaland hat-trick pending. There we land. What if I still had Kwanzaa, I would just roll with the free transfer and I would make 2 free transfer moves next week. Sportsbooks literally have Haaland scoring more than 1 goal. So that's that. Jacob Greaves is a pretty great defender. Yeah, fair enough. All right, so that's that this week. just added me on the Garnacho post. Thank you. So what, did the United Stand get it wrong and then decide to change that? Sam C report. Oh, wow. Okay. That's kind of crazy news to me. Walker needs to piss off, honestly. Yeah, I just hope Lewis starts. Just this fixture, that's it. Maybe I do have life with HAALAND. I hope that works out. Fran starts for City confirmed. I'll give a pass to HAALAND, why not? Yeah. All right, guys, I think that's it for the stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really a pleasure of seeing you guys around. But yeah, I hope you guys take care. Enjoy the weekend, whether you've triple captained, whether you don't have HAALAND, whether you only captained HAALAND, that sort of thing. I don't think his EO is going to be above 200%. So if you captain, I think you're probably still happy. If you triple captain and it works out, that's fine. If you went Salah only as a team, and you've captained Salah, I think that's perfectly fine. Salah's got such a good fixture this week. So don't worry, enjoy the football. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We always say that, and it's a reality. So take care, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the football, and I'll see you guys soon for more content. So take care.